Cali Muscle.
Hello.
Welcome, Cali. What's up, Cali?
You know, living, man, living on this watermelon.
All right, we're going to get into that, Cali. So, guys, this is Cali Muscle doing a collaboration with Cali. Absolutely unbelievable person. You know who he is. Does not need an introduction. Now, for today, I am worried about Cali Muscle because I'm the doc, and he's in the wheelhouse here with us, and we know that we're going to talk about this with Cali, and I'm so amazed at him for his story, you know, among other stories of men that come from places and end up being big-ass celebrities, especially in the world of our world, right, of the Iron Brotherhood, and how he's managed to get himself into an incredible place and position himself. And then 2 years ago, he has a heart attack, and we all know that we've seen that, and then here he is now. So, Cali, we're going to talk about some of your medical stuff today. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Tell us.
Thanks for having me.
And Cali has a word. Cali has words for you guys because essentially he's here as an Iron brother. He's not a young man, but what are you, 48? Not an old man.
Yeah.
So he's here to really bring some words to, especially to the young guys that are on steroids or considering steroids. So there'll be no bullshit today. Cali, you started off way back when. Tell us your story, how you got on steroids.
So I was a late bloomer of steroids. So I played in high school football, wrestling, track. That's when my infatuation with wanting to get bigger started. I just wanted to be athletic. I wasn't worried about being a bodybuilder. And so I went to college, Fresno State, got in trouble, ended up doing 7 years in prison. So during that stay in prison, I'm like, I'm going to get out, become a personal trainer and an exotic dancer, a.k.a. stripper. So I did that. And while I was doing that, I got involved in the drug industry. And I went back to prison, and I ended up going back 4 times. I was a recidivist that loved to go to prison because I had so much power. And so when I got out in 2007, started working out serious. What really changed me was I went to Contra Costa bodybuilding show. Jay Cutler was there. I thought, in the ghetto, I'm buff to everybody. I was big, so I thought I was big. So I was there high on ecstasy and a little alcohol, seen Jay Cutler. I'm like, hey, Jay, let me take a picture with you. So I took a picture with Jay Cutler, looked at the picture, and he made me look like a little boy. And I'm like, oh, I'm done with this. I threw the ecstasy and the alcohol away. And I said, I'm about to do this, be a bodybuilder. So the gym I went to, the owner, he used to compete, rest in peace, Diego Chairs. And he told me I should do it. Start bodybuilding competitively, and another friend of mine told me I should do it. And the other friend, like, man, I give you your shots if you need them. I'll start you off. So at this point, I was 33 going on 34. And so he gave me my first shot of Sustanon, and I was talking crazy for like 2 weeks. Like, this, y'all take this stuff, it ain't doing nothing, right? Because I was already benching naturally 500 pounds off nothing. And so I thought I was going to be able to go to 600 in like a week after the shot or something. And so the third week, it kicked in. And I was just, man, my endurance, I got just full. My muscles got full. And I'm like, oh, we on to something now. So in 9 months from that first shot, I went and did the Orange County Classic. Won first place heavyweight. I didn't win the overall. There was another big black guy there to beat me for the overall. So after that, I went to do the Contra Costa, won that overall. Then I did 5 shows in the span of 2 months, and won first play in all of them. And some I would do light, some I would go heavyweight, some super heavy. And so I never forget. So during this time period, I didn't have a mentor. Like, everybody just, I don't know, vanished. So I would go to Google. And so I learned what to take on Google. I didn't have no coach, nothing. And so every day I'd be online 8 hours, at least 8 hours a day, studying. What should I take? This, that. So I was just experimenting with myself. And technically didn't know what I was doing, and, doing some scary stuff, taking clenbuterol with T3 and
Bro, this is real bro science, right? Right, Callie?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I should. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would have got Hani Rambut or George Farrell, one of them guys, you know, to be my coach. Because, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. And so, yeah, man, I think if I wouldn't have won that first show, I wouldn't have competed. But I won my first show. So
you have great genetics. We know that, right? You have great genetics. You're very gifted. You get on steroids. It's a great high. But tell us about what you told me, because we've talked about this, that you didn't want to be a pro bodybuilder because of the drugs were too much.
Yeah, so I used to talk bad about bodybuilders. So I used to get the muscle magazines in prison or whatever. And since a kid, I always looked at Muscle and Fitness and Flex magazines. And I would always say, boy, they on that juice, you know. You know how natties say about, you know, guys on roids. I was one of those guys. So I understand. I'm like, them old juice heads, I don't need no roids. I bench more than them. They don't even lift heavy. Yeah, that's how, you know. And so, yeah, I was anti-steroid, anti-drugs. Then it just took for my mentor to tell me I got what it takes. And I thought it was a lot of money in it. So that was my reason for getting into bodybuilding. And, you know, Flex Wheeler and Ronnie and all, Sean Ray, they put up this image. And I'm like, wow, Arnold. And I'm like, man, I'm going to try to go get some of that money.
Wow.
And so,
but you realized, it's interesting when I've talked to you about this, that you've realized that you were on some drugs, some steroids. You obviously responded. This is what guys don't realize, that you started steroids at 34. You were already big and strong, and you were strong, that more than the average, and just responding very well genetically. Then you take some steroids, really not that much, and then you realize you like the effect of it, but you don't want to go to the pro level because you knew that's super extreme.
Yeah.
And you were scared for that because of your health, right?
Yeah, I had did the West Coast Classic in 2014, and I would look good. You know, at this point, I said I was done before then. And I looked good. I'm like, it's a show next week? Oh, I'm going to go do it.
Wow.
So I just dropped my carbs a little bit, went in and won super heavyweight and the overall show. And that's when the coaches contacted me. And I was already scared of health issues. So I always had a problem since I was young. My right ankle and foot would retain water. And so I was always concerned with that and, you know, scared, really.
Right.
And even when I did shows, like I would take diuretics or whatever, and I look at that foot and it wouldn't be shredded and hard like I wanted it. And so it was always a concern. And so when I did the West Coast Classic, the coaches sent the protocols, man, and I'm like, nah, I'm done. I'm done. I take my little 500 mgs a test a month, and I'm done, you know, with the bodybuilding stuff.
Wow.
Because it was just, I had already spent, my first year, I spent like $250,000. I did my taxes. And my tax person was like, where did all this money go? I'm like, oh, just traveling to shows, hotels, and food. And they like, what? And right then, I'm like, it don't make sense. Spend this much money.
Financial.
Yeah. And because I did 5 shows back to back. So you figure, you know, all the travel and hotels and drugs and food, you know, it was costly.
I mean, this is what I want. Why guys need to hear this stuff. So, and we're not putting down pro bodybuilders, guys.
No,
we're actually showing the truth now, because everyone's talking and saying these are warriors. Let's just face it; those are warriors. But you were concerned that you had some health consequences potentially. Smart guy, realizing you want to play with it a little close to the fire. You love to be big. The drugs are good, but take some testosterone, a little extra here and there. But you backed off. You became a social media big star, and then you have a heart attack 2 years ago. Let's go to that. Let's go up to the heart attack.
Okay.
What were you taking like right around that time period? How big were you? So
during that time, I trimmed down because the look I have now is the look I always wanted. So at that point, I was 220. So I had trimmed down. I was like, man, I want to look like a killer when I get in these acting Hollywood movies, right? Because when I moved to LA, I moved from Burbank, California to Nevada, Vegas for 4 years. Wow. So during that 4 years in Vegas, that foot and ankle was huge. I had to go up a shoe size. Oh. And so I was contributing to the heat and the air quality of Vegas. But I'm scared that whole time living out there. And I went to the doctor a few times, and they would tell me my cholesterol was a little elevated, my blood pressure was elevated. But I always use the excuse, y'all using the electric blood pressure thing and not the old school one.
Right. The man, and not big enough. The cuff's not big enough. Right.
Right, exactly. So I would use that as an excuse. So what happened was in Vegas, I had to do IVF. My sperm went to 0.
Right. So
I got off steroids for 2 years to bring my sperm back up.
Wow.
Well, if you go down my timeline in 2018, 19, everybody in the comments, he got small, he off juice.
Right, right.
And so, yeah, I was off for 2 years. And my feet, they were still, that puffy. So I thought coming off the roids would get everything normal.
Was your heart, did you have an echocardiogram back then, or kidneys?
No, not at all. I would have found it. They would have saw it.
Oh, this is why we're doing this.
Yeah. So, in my mind, I was a late bloomer. I would take off 3-4 months from roids. I felt I was doing everything right. But, doctors told me it'd take 20 years for that left artery to clog up. But let me not speed up. So then I moved from Vegas back to LA in 2020 during the pandemic. And I was only 220 pounds, but big. I looked big for 220 pounds. And that's when I was doing the mukbangs. It got real popular for that, which I wasn't eating the food. I'm an actor, just to let people know. But I was still, so I look back now, I was eating messed up all that time. Just the amount of rice, the amount of beef, and for me and, my nationality, that clog us up easy, all that rice and stuff, which I didn't know. And caffeine, I was taking like 1,000 mgs a day of caffeine. I was a walking time bomb. And so what happened was the day of the heart attack, I got some dental work done the day before. So I took, and I didn't have no symptoms of heart attack or nothing.
No chest pain, no short of breath?
Nothing.
Wow.
Nah. So until the night of. So what happened was the day before I got some dental work done, and they had me on, I think, Vicodin or Percocet. Man, I wasn't taking them, but I took one the next day. And so day was going beautiful. And that night, I'm like, man, let me get a few calories in me. So I ate a vertical diet by Stan Efferton. It's beef and rice with broth. And I do something I never do. I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't eat ice cream. But this night, I had an ice cream sandwich. So I went to sleep at about 10, 12 a.m. It was like I woke up from the dead. I was dead asleep. I just popped up. Like, hold on, what's going on? I feel like I got heartburn. And so I told my wife to give me some heartburn medication. So she was scuffling about getting me some Pepto-Bismol, antacid. And so only way I found it felt better is if I sat on the couch, like on my knees, and I'm on the couch like this. It relieved the little burning sensation. And so after about 30 minutes of being in that position, I got in cold sweats and I started vomiting like I'd never seen in my life. And she said, let's go. She got me in the car, drove me there. 10 minutes, doctor say, oh, we got to do surgery. You're having a heart attack. We got to put a stent in your main artery. I'm like, what? I just got heartburn. Y'all talking about a heart attack?
Oh,
Come
boy.
on, man. Look at me.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and so they put the stent, and then rest in peace. This is the same day Sean Roden died. Me and him had a heart attack the same day.
Oh, my God. Really?
Yeah, I didn't release mine to the next day because I didn't want to, try to overshadow his death or whatever. Yeah, the same day. And so I got goosebumps now, man.
Oh, it's so sad. We gotta really do something, guys, because there's a way to really check the ABCDs, and we're all the same guys. We're all brothers of iron. We're out there doing stuff, and some guys are more risky than others, right? Because of the family history, right? Some guys could seem like they could fucking live and do steroids and get away with it, but in the end, we're all gambling. So okay, so you had the heart attack. Let's speed up to today. You in the last couple of weeks, why did you tell us as much as you feel comfortable with about your heart, and like why are you? I'm concerned because I'm a doctor and I know you have good doctors over there in LA. And
hopefully.
Well, I hope. And if not, we got to get you some new doctors, but it's like, you got to, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So you got to make some noise, but you're a good man. And I mean, this is complicated stuff, but like your heart after having, you had an LAD, full LAD. That's a left-sided. Well, that's the LAD left. That's a widowmaker left anterior descending artery. You had 100% blockage. Isn't it? I almost said funny, but it's not funny. Isn't it peculiar that most men, if you look at the heart disease, if you look at the widowmaker, it's called the widowmaker because it makes a widow, because a lot of guys don't survive it. Yours was 100% blocked, and that was what you went through. And with the grace of God, those interventional cardiology doctors and nurses, let's give a shout out to them, and the paramedics and all the first responders, and that go and pick up these people that they're not getting rich and famous, and they're not YouTubers like me and you, but they're out there doing their shit. And so God bless you guys and girls. So, and they're not getting rich, but they're doing it, and it's incredible. People are having fucking heart attacks. And so you had a massive heart attack. Now, a couple years later, brother, you're coming off your medicines, which I understand it, and you're on watermelon, and you look unbelievable because you have great genetics.
Yeah.
And you're just a good-looking guy. You have beautiful teeth. I mean, I'm looking at this guy going, you're handsome, you're fun, you're smart, you're a wise guy. And it's like, you're just having a good life, but I'm worried that there are special medications only that should be given by doctors that are not only cardiologists, but CHF experts, interventional cardiology doctors, lipidologists. You need Dr. Nolan. I know him, right? He's a lipidologist and a cardiologist. And this is when I start getting my attitude to the world, because these fucking guys that are playing this stuff, that on Google, it pisses me off because you're Googling stuff. It's just like, but like, Doc, you're not, it can't get to you. And like, we don't get attention. So they suffer quietly. That's why I'm pissed off. Yeah. So that's why we're making some noise. But tell us about why you stopped your medicine.
Well, it was a progression. So I took it all the way up until 2 weeks ago.
What can you tell us what medicine, if you don't mind? If you don't want to.
It was Jardians and Tresto. What's another one? Brilinta.
Yeah.
Topro. And
beta blocker. Okay.
And atorvastatin, which is Lipitor.
Oh, Lipitor.
Right, statin. Right.
So, they had me on them twice a day, man. So I took it for almost 2 years. Twice a day. And every time I go in, I'm like...
How'd you feel?
No, I felt normal. But I'm like, when I went in, I'm like, bro, like, all these medications do almost the same thing. Like, it don't make sense. So I would ask them. And so I also would say this. You got me on blood pressure medicine. So when I do an echocardiogram, wouldn't my ejection fraction be lower because y'all restricted my heart.
But how?
But
you're,
so,
yeah, it's complicated. Right.
So they would. It reminded me of when I was a kid. My pastor, I would throw these questions at him, and he would be confused
about
so
God.
I would ask them, and they'd be like, maybe it could. You know what I mean? They wasn't certain.
Right.
And so I couldn't get my tests read. I did PETs tests. I did every test. I did basically an executive physical.
Right.
And that's everything. And they wouldn't, bro, it would take 5-6 months to see them. Nobody would read my disc with my PET test. So I'm like, man, I got to take my life in control of my own life. Because these people, I'd be dead. And so I'm like, man, it was 2 weeks ago. First I stopped the night pills, and I felt it, man, my energy shot up just from stop taking the night. And then once I decided to go on this watermelon fast to reset my whole system, that's why I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm off everything. And, hey, we go see how it go.
All right, so what I want to say is, I'm not his doctor, guys, but I do care for the guy, and we are collaborating right now. So in the end of the day, I know it's a lot of medicines, and a lot of times guys will say after a heart attack, especially on all those meds, you go from 0 to 150,000. You have no meds, and then you walk out of the hospital on 6 meds: Perlenta, beta blockers, statin. I mean, this is my life, right? I'm an internal medicine. So some of these, there's deal cutting. So like guys are seeing it live right here. Well, it's not live, it's pre-recorded. But it's like the way we do it is, and your doctors, I know, I'm going to look over the shoulder here if you want me to. Like the way it happens is you're going to go back to the doc. You're going to get the test done. It's sad that the fucking doctors don't respond because they're just everyone's overloaded. That's just a problem that we have in this country. So squeaky wheel, right? Make some noise. So, and then you're going to end up looking at it, and they're going to hit a reset button. And with the grace of God, some of those medications will need to be restarted. And I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
Right. See. So, and then because these but how many men can live like you're living, like on an unbelievable, tight, regulated fast? No, the average person can't do what you're doing. You're motivated. You're a celebrity. You have a body that you want to keep looking. So you don't smoke. You don't drink. You're not going to eat sodium. You're going to have watermelon. You're basically living so clean. And be careful, right? Because you could collapse on because you're just calorically debilitated. It's just going to collapse. So, and you need hydration. You need supplements. You need foods. But in the end, with the damage that your heart has probably sustained, there are some of these medicines that you mentioned are very, very unique, and you can't ever, even with a good diet. I'm not saying that diet's not important. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the fucking yahoos, because I'm not here for fucking yahoos. I'm a doctor, and I'm going to be bombastic about it because I'm not loud enough, because these guys just run their muck and they suffer. So you're going to have a great doctor, and you know what we do with patients? We get along. You cut deals with a patient. Look, here's your ejection fraction. Right? Here's how things look. Here's your blood pressure. Maybe you don't need a blood pressure. Maybe medicine. Maybe you don't need that type of beta blocker called metoprolol. Maybe you could use nebivolol, and it's good for the cock. It's good for the cock. So, and this is, but I cut deals for you guys with doc. I'm like a manager. I'm like a middle. I'm a middle level. I'm like a mid. I'm like an agent. So it's like, doc. Hey, doc, can we change this and can we change that? Yeah, we can, because I want the guy to feel good. Now, you actually felt good, but you stopped the medicine. That's like,
and
what the fuck?
Great after, but I thought I was feeling good. But
now you feel better. But look, this is hard, guys. You have a heart attack. There's depression after the heart attack for a lot of men. You're on these medicines. You feel like you're imprisoned. It limits your heart rate. The sex. It can affect, let's talk about real stuff, guys. The sex can be affected, not to mention all these other drugs. Are you toxic? You know, there's going to be, you need to hit a reset button. We're going to close on this, and we got to watch you, brother. You got to go to that great doctor. And like they said, is now the Entresto and the other, there's sodium glucose choke. I'm the mad scientist guy, but I'm not mad, and I'm super conservative. Yeah. These medicines, I'm telling you, especially for the ejection fraction, the sodium glucose co-transfer, I'm telling you, if it was me, I know exactly, because I'm on some of these fancy medicine. Here's a medicine right here I'm on. Inject. This ain't growth hormone or insulin. So this is Repatha, right? I'll put it down because I don't want YouTube to shut it down because they don't like when a doctor like me, not sponsored, starts opening my mouth. So, but I use technology. And that's what I have in my app, anabolicdocapp.com. But it's not about this. It's about you, and it's about that. What are you doing, and where in the medical system are you? So anyway, I'm worried you're going to come off all the medicines like people do, and something bad's going to happen.
Oh, no.
And that's it.
Be positive.
Callie, just give us some closure. We're going to hopefully do more stuff together, brother. What words do you have for the young steroid users that want to go pro? They want to be on some steroids. Forget fucking TRT. What do you have to say to these guys?
Don't think it won't happen to you. I thought, you know what I mean? I didn't think it would happen to me because I was taking off every 3 to 4 months out of the year, and I thought I was eating healthy, but I look back, I wasn't. It's unnecessary. If your testosterone not low, if you're not 30, 35, 40 and your test is normal, don't even get on it.
Right.
There's no need. All you got to do is eat healthy, man.
And if you're on testosterone, guys, you could love testosterone could be fucking awesome. But if you're 19, 20, 22, 25 and your test is strong and your sex drive is great, you're going to go on testosterone. Forget all the other bullshit. You're going to be on testosterone for the rest of your life. Right? Yeah. Kyle, you agree with that, right?
Yeah. I'm not for sure yet the rest of the because I told you I got off for 2 years and I brought mine back up, but I got it back up with HCG and Clomid.
But do you mind if I ask you, are you on any testosterone right now?
No.
Okay.
Wow.
How do you feel?
Feel good, but I'm gonna hop on a TRT though, because you see my test is at 280.
Right.
So yeah, I'm dealing with a wellness clinic now. So
when you go, see, that's where it's going to be complicated for the heart, and these places typically give way too much, and I don't want you on an aromatase inhibitor with the heart situation.
Right. Oh no. So yeah, we already talked about all that. They agreed as well. But no, I feel good, man. Best of my life.
Callie, God bless you, brother. Let's just conclude because, guys, I don't have no attention span. So we're about under 30 minutes. I think it's going to be a good first interview. Right. And but thank you so much, Callie. We will stay in touch with you. And thank you so much, brother, for getting the word out there.
See you on the next one.
My pleasure, brother.
Right, bye, guys.
This is what you get with the Anabolic Doc app. Number 1, a digital history and physical exam. Number 2, weekly Zoom meetings with me. Number 3, discounted commercial labs. Number 4, weekly member-only uncensored videos. Number 5, Anabolic Doc's mailbag. You can't come to the meetings or you don't want to come to the meetings, you ask a question. I'm going to respond to your question by making a video, put it back up on the app, and you get to see your own question. Lastly, diagnostic and management library that is easily searchable by keywords.